In the vast reaches of space, there is a zoo like no other, a collection of life forms from across the galaxy, curated by an ancient and advanced species. Their technology is far beyond anything Earth had ever achieved, their arrogance even greater. The zoo sprawls across a floating megastructure, each enclosure a meticulously crafted environment to simulate the creatures' homeworlds. The cold sterility of the place is undeniable. Everything is controlled, monitored, and secure. The zookeepers, all tall and slender, speak in hushed, bored tones as they make their rounds. A group of these alien zookeepers glide past exhibits with disinterest, a mixture of pride and disdain clear on their faces. Today, their attention falls on the newest arrivals from a long-forgotten planet, Earth. The humans? Long extinct. But the animals, those they deemed worthy, are now nothing more than curiosities, remnants of a failed world. They laugh at the creatures from the so-called Third Rock, particularly the small predators like the Wolverine. Look at these pitiful beings. One zookeeper scoffs, pointing toward the Earth exhibit. Their planet was too primitive to survive, and yet they dared consider themselves advanced. Another zookeeper taps on a display, bringing up information on the various Earth species. The apex predators, they chuckle, couldn't even compare to the smallest threats we face in the galaxy. Look at this one. A hologram of a Wolverine materializes, the creature depicted as little more than a feral, growling beast. Small, solitary, savage, yes. But a true threat? Ridiculous. Their amusement is palpable, their dismissal total. The enclosures, sleek and shimmering with high-tech barriers, separate each creature from the other. The zoo is a well-oiled machine, a place of order and spectacle, but for all their intellect, the zookeepers are blind to the spark that still resides in Earth's remaining creatures. As they move on, leaving the Earth exhibit behind, the creatures themselves seem unaware of the aliens' mockery. A tiger paces lazily in its enclosure, indifferent. A bald eagle sits in its perch, feathers ruffling slightly in an artificial breeze. But one creature, smaller and less regal in appearance, stands out, the Wolverine. Alone in its exhibit, its eyes flicker with a different kind of intelligence. The zookeepers barely notice as the Wolverine prowls, muscles rippling under its coarse fur. They don't understand that this creature, despite its size, is the embodiment of survival, raw and unrefined. The zookeepers continue to mock. Pathetic, one mutters. I've seen far more impressive life forms. These earthlings would be torn apart by even our juveniles. They leave, unconcerned, believing their zoo and their technology are flawless. They don't know what's coming. In the shadows of the galaxy, something stirs. The Drankles, a brutal and nomadic alien race, have been planning their move for some time. Their scouts have identified the zoo as a perfect target, not for its spectacle, but for the deadly creatures locked inside. To them, the zoo is a trove of weapons, biological forces they can unleash. They don't care about Earth's past, or the zookeepers' arrogance. They only want chaos. The Drankles are preparing their infiltration, confident in their ability to overpower the zookeepers. They've studied the zoo's defenses and know exactly where the weak points are. Yet, even as they ready their attack, the zookeepers remain oblivious, comfortable in their superiority. Their confidence is their weakness, and the Drankles will exploit it. Meanwhile, inside its enclosure, the Wolverine senses something. It moves differently now, no longer pacing aimlessly. Its instincts, honed by generations of survival in the harshest environments, flare to life. The zookeepers might think they've tamed Earth's creatures, but the Wolverine's restless behavior suggests otherwise. Its eyes, dark and sharp, seem to pierce through the confines of its cage, as if waiting for the right moment. It knows what's coming, even if the zookeepers do not. The Drankles strike without warning. Swift, brutal, and efficient, they cut through the zoo's defenses like a blade through water. Their entry is planned down to the second, bypassing the zoo's advanced security systems with ease. They don't care about the spectacle, or the rare creatures housed within. To them, the zoo is merely a treasure trove of dangerous lifeforms, ripe for the taking. They move through the corridors, spreading out, their goals singular: unleash chaos. One by one, they disable containment fields, releasing some of the most ferocious beasts from across the galaxy into the zoo's corridors. Within minutes, chaos reigns. The zoo, once a place of controlled peace, now teems with chaos as alien predators roam free. Massive creatures, with razor-sharp claws and deadly instincts, begin to clash, their primal rage turned loose. Enclosures shatter, barriers fall, and the screams of battle echo through the zoo. The zookeepers, unprepared for such an assault, scramble to regain control. Their technology, once infallible, fails them. The creatures they had so carefully contained are now beyond their reach, ripping through the zoo in a storm of destruction. Amidst the madness, the Earth section is largely ignored. The zookeepers still see no value in the creatures of a long-dead planet, believing them incapable of impacting the larger crisis unfolding. They rush to subdue the larger threats, sending drones and automated systems to deal with the more dangerous beasts, but it's already too late. They focus on the rampaging alien monsters, blind to the small, unassuming figure that slips free from its enclosure. The Wolverine, small and seemingly insignificant in the eyes of the zookeepers, moves through the chaos with a singular purpose. It doesn't panic, doesn't flinch at the massive creatures roaring around it. Instead, it acts with cold, methodical intent. Its instincts, sharper than the zoo's technology, guide it through the chaos. Every movement is precise, every action measured. It stalks its first target, a creature easily 5 times its size, a brute from a distant world, a natural predator designed to kill. The Wolverine strikes with a fury the zookeepers had never imagined. It's not about size or brute strength. It's about ferocity, tenacity, the refusal to back down. The alien predator, though larger and seemingly more dangerous, is no match for the Wolverine's raw, savage power. Teeth sink into flesh, claws tear through armor-like skin, and within moments, the much larger creature falls, defeated by a predator the zookeepers had once mocked as insignificant. As the Wolverine moves from one foe to the next, the zookeepers start to notice. Their attention, once wholly focused on the larger predators and the chaos unfolding around them, is now drawn to the small earth creature tearing through anything in its path. The Drenkels had released horrors into the zoo, but none as relentless, none as vicious as this. The zookeepers, watching from a distance, begin to understand their mistake. This small predator, overlooked and dismissed, is turning the tide. The Wolverine doesn't care for the chaos around it. It doesn't think, doesn't strategize in the way the zookeepers or the Drenkels might. It simply fights, every fiber of its being dedicated to survival, to the hunt. It confronts another creature, a hulking beast from the Drenkels' homeworld, its hide thick and covered in spines. But the Wolverine doesn't hesitate. It lunges, its teeth sinking deep into flesh, its claws tearing at the creature's throat. The beast thrashes, but it's no use. The Wolverine is relentless, unstoppable. The zookeepers watch in stunned silence. They had underestimated the Earth creatures, dismissing them as weak and irrelevant. Now, as they see the Wolverine take down predator after predator, their arrogance begins to crumble. The Drenkels, too, are caught off guard. They had anticipated chaos, but not this. The small predator they had freed from its cage is proving more dangerous than any of the larger beasts they had planned to use for their own purposes. As the battle rages, the zookeepers realize that the Wolverine, in its savage simplicity, might be their best hope of regaining control of the zoo. It has no fear, no hesitation. Every creature it faces, it takes down with the same ruthless efficiency. The zoo, once teetering on the edge of total destruction, begins to stabilize as the Wolverine cuts through the chaos like a force of nature. The zookeepers, once dismissive, are now forced to confront the truth. The creatures of Earth, though small, are anything but weak. The Drenkels, now pleased with the havoc they've unleashed, begin making their way toward their exit. They've achieved their objective, chaos reigns, and the alien predators they freed will cause destruction long after they've left. They move with the confidence of a species that has never been challenged in this way. But as they round a corner, they come to an abrupt stop. Standing in their path is the Wolverine. At first, the Drenkels are amused. The Wolverine's size compared to their towering forms is laughable. They've seen it tear through other creatures in the zoo, but they are armed, skilled, and sure of their superiority. One Drenkel, confident in his strength, steps forward with a sneer, ready to dispatch the small creature. He raises his weapon, but before he can act, the Wolverine is upon him. It moves faster than the Drenkel could have anticipated, a blur of claws and teeth. In seconds, the Drenkel is on the ground, bloodied and thrashing as the Wolverine bites deep into his neck. His armor is useless against the sheer ferocity of the attack. The other Drenkels are momentarily frozen, unable to believe what they're seeing. The Wolverine doesn't stop. It rips into the fallen Drenkel, tearing flesh and sinew apart with a precision that speaks to millennia of evolved survival instincts. Another Drenkel rushes in, weapon ready, but the Wolverine is already moving. It leaps, latching onto the Drenkel's arm and dragging him to the ground, ignoring the blasts of energy weapons that scorch the air around it. Even as one of the shots grazes its side, the Wolverine doesn't let go. The Drenkels, for all their technology and military prowess, find themselves overwhelmed by the sheer primal fury of this creature. The Zookeepers, watching from a distance, are stunned. This is no ordinary animal. It is something beyond what they understood about Earth's creatures. The Wolverine fights not just to survive, but to dominate. Its movements are a blend of raw power and cunning, each attack calculated and merciless. Injured, bleeding, but undeterred, it fights like a creature possessed. One Drenkel falls, then another, their weapons useless against the Wolverine's relentless assault. The Drenkels, now truly afraid, attempt to regroup. They've fought many enemies, but this one is unlike anything they've encountered. It doesn't back down, doesn't retreat. Even as they bring their weapons to bear, the Wolverine charges, claws outstretched, tearing through them as though they were nothing more than prey. One Drenkel stumbles back, his chest slashed open, gasping for air as the Wolverine circles him. There is no hesitation. It pounces, locking its jaws onto his throat and bringing him down in a violent crash. Each Drenkel falls one by one. The advanced tactics they rely on in battle are useless against the Wolverine's unpredictability and raw aggression. The Zookeepers are transfixed by the scene unfolding before them, witnessing the true extent of Earth's resilience in this small but fearsome predator. For all their technology and intellect, the Zookeepers are forced to reckon with a fundamental truth: strength comes in many forms, and sometimes, the most unassuming creatures can prove to be the deadliest. With the Drenkels defeated, the Wolverine stands in the aftermath, its fur matted with blood, some its own, most of it not. Its breathing is heavy, but its eyes are still sharp, still looking for the next threat. Even now, injured and exhausted, it is ready to fight again. The Zookeepers, watching from their safe vantage point, cannot help but feel a mixture of awe and shame. They had mocked the creatures of Earth, scoffed at their supposed weakness, and now this small predator had done what they could not: neutralize the threat of the Drenkel invaders. But the Wolverine's actions do more than just defeat the Drenkels. Other creatures in the zoo, seeing the ferocity of the Wolverine, begin to act. Alien predators, once released by the Drenkels to cause havoc, now hesitate, sensing the shift in power. The Wolverine's dominance spreads like wildfire, and creatures that had been cowering in their enclosures start to fight back. They aren't as coordinated as the Wolverine, but the sheer force of numbers begins to turn the tide. The chaos starts to subside as the zoo's creatures, earthborn and alien alike, band together in their survival instinct. The Zookeepers, still trying to regain control, are forced to acknowledge their arrogance. They had built this zoo, believing they could control all life with their superior technology. But the Wolverine had shattered that illusion. As the remaining predators are subdued, the Zookeepers begin restoring order, though it's clear that the damage is done. The zoo, once pristine and orderly, is now in ruins. The Wolverine, victorious, retreats back into the shadows of the zoo, leaving behind a trail of defeated invaders and shattered pride. In the aftermath of the Drenkel invasion, the zoo returns to a tense quiet. The once pristine corridors are littered with the wreckage of shattered enclosures, damaged security systems, and blood-streaked walls. The few alien predators still roaming free are swiftly recaptured, subdued by the Zookeepers' technology, now fully operational after the initial surprise attack. Order, though fragile, is slowly restored. The zookeepers walk through the debris, surveying the damage with a heavy sense of realization. Their arrogance, once boundless, has been cut down to size. They had believed themselves invulnerable, their zoo a fortress of control. Now, all they feel is humility. Among the wreckage, their attention is drawn back to the Earth section, where the Wolverine, unbothered by the chaos it helped quell, is once again confined within its enclosure. It stands licking its wounds, calm but still alert, its fierce eyes scanning its surroundings. The creature's body shows signs of the brutal battle, but it remains unscathed where it counts most, its spirit. The zookeepers pause, staring at the small predator with a newfound respect. Just hours earlier, they had mocked its size, its supposed insignificance. Now they stand before it in silence, humbled by the strength they had failed to recognize. The senior zookeeper gathers his team in a meeting hall still bearing the scars of the recent battle. His voice, usually filled with confidence, now carries a tone of solemnity. "We were wrong," he admits, his eyes dark with the weight of the admission. The others nod silently, their arrogance shattered by what they had witnessed. The senior zookeeper reflects aloud on how they had underestimated the creatures of Earth. "We laughed at them, at their simplicity, their smallness. But what we saw today," he trails off, lost for a moment in thought. "That Wolverine fought with a will we've never seen, even in creatures 5 times its size." One of the junior keepers speaks up, echoing what everyone is thinking. "It didn't fight just to survive, it fought to dominate, to protect its territory. It's more than just an animal." The room falls silent as each zookeeper contemplates their previous mockery of Earth's wildlife. The Wolverine, once a mere footnote in their grand collection, now stands as a symbol of something greater. It represents not just physical strength, but the power of resilience, of relentless will. The zookeepers now understand that the creatures of Earth, particularly the Wolverine, possess something far more valuable than brute force. They have heart. No longer will the Earth section of the zoo be viewed with derision. The zookeepers, still bruised in pride, vow to treat its creatures with the respect they deserve. The Wolverine, once confined to a corner of the zoo as a minor curiosity, is now recognized for what it truly is, a force of nature. They will no longer laugh at the creatures of a planet that, despite its fall, produced life so fierce, so tenacious, that it could outmatch their greatest predators. In that moment, they begin to understand that power isn't just about size, but about the spirit that drives a creature to survive against all odds. Days later, the zoo reopens to the public, but with one significant change. The Wolverine's enclosure is no longer hidden away, unnoticed. It is now placed at the forefront, a centerpiece of the zoo, a creature of both fear and fascination. Visitors from across the galaxy flock to see it, and the zookeepers, now careful to explain its ferocity, speak of the Wolverine with reverence. The creature is no longer an afterthought, it is now a legend within the zoo's halls, its story told as a testament to Earth's legacy. As the zoo visitors gaze at the Wolverine, unaware of the havoc it helped stop, the small predator continues to roam its territory, oblivious to the shift in perception. It does what it has always done, survive. It moves with the same raw, unyielding energy, as if nothing has changed. For the Wolverine, there is no need for recognition or respect. It fights not for glory, but because that is its nature. It embodies the fierce, untamable spirit of Earth, the last reminder of a planet that once teemed with life. The zookeepers, who once ridiculed Earth's creatures, now understand that they were wrong. They have learned their lesson in humility and respect, not just for the Wolverine, but for all creatures who endure. In the end, the Wolverine stands as a testament to the fact that true strength comes not from technology, intelligence, or size, but from the will to fight, to endure, and to survive, no matter the odds. And in that Earth's creatures, its spirit, will never be underestimated again.